perspective, these things have to be in place. Now, unfortunately, first we got to do some deprogramming here. I want you to understand what has happened to us. We define manhood. It has been said by the 3 B's, okay? We define manhood on the ball field, in the bedroom, and by the billfold. In our culture, that's how we've been taught to define manhood. On the ball field, in the bedroom, and by the billfold. That's it. How does he perform athletically? How does he perform sexually? How is he with the ladies? And how much money does he have? That's how we define manhood in our culture, whether we like it or not. And unfortunately, for those of us who claim to be followers of Christ, and in large part because of what we've just heard, our definitions are no different. We define manhood by the 3 B's. I am the homeschool father of 4. My oldest son is not with me today. He travels with me. I travel about 8 days a month. Any less, and it'd be hard for me to feed my family. Any more, it'd be hard for me to say with a straight face that they're the most important thing in my world. But I travel about 8 days a month, and my oldest son travels with me. He does that full time. So from the time my oldest son became 13 years old, I became his teacher. When he was 13, he went through a manhood ceremony, and one of the parts of that entering into manhood was his mother turned over the books, and I became his teacher of all of his subjects, and more specifically, his discipler. He is my disciple. There is no man in the world that is more important for me to disciple than my son. And so as a result of that, he spends his time traveling with me. And the interesting thing about that is I get a lot of questions, several questions I get, People look at me and they go, you're a pretty big guy. You look like you're a ball player or something like that. So yep, been there, done that. Okay, it's great. His son, he's 14. He's, pretty big kid. And I'm just wondering, with you guys doing this, how's he going to play ball? When people say that to me, here's what I hear. I want to know how your son is going to be able to worship at the altar of the sport god. To which I respond, who cares? I don't. It's meaningless. It's absolutely meaningless. We don't need another ball player. We don't. We need men with trained minds. We need men with godly, biblical character. We need men with multi-generational vision. We need men who commit themselves in all their faculties to the glory of Almighty God. I am raising a warrior for Christ. That's what I'm raising. Not an entertainer. That's not what I'm raising. A warrior for Christ. Who cares? Well, team sports, they build character. Really? Do you really believe that? Do you really believe that? Because if you believe that, let's test your premise. Team sports build character. That means guys who spend more time in team sports ought to have more character than guys who don't. So the guys in this culture with the greatest character ought to be in the NFL and the NBA. Is that your final answer? That's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Besides that, how did George Washington build character? He didn't play team sports. Adams, Jefferson. I'll go you one better. How did Jesus build character? Was it Pop Warner? See, we think like that. Why? Because how do you measure manhood according to our culture? The ball field, the bedroom, and the billfold. That's how you measure manhood according to our culture. And that's how we've learned to measure manhood. Does that mean I think sports are evil or that? I didn't say that. It's not what I said. That's not what I said. But once we step back for a moment and ask ourselves some questions, we realize that not only is that a limited understanding of what a man is, but it also doesn't come close to approaching scriptural truth. What is a man? And here's what's even less fortunate. There are women walking around, some of you in this very room, and you'll be married in the not too distant future. And our culture has said to you, you measure manhood by what? The Ballfield, the bedroom, the Billfold. And that's what you're looking for. Claiming that you're following Christ, but what you're looking for in a man is not a reflection of biblical manhood and biblical character, but a reflection of our carnal culture. What type of marriage do you think you're going to have? How long's the ball field going to satisfy you, ladies? We don't get to do that long. How long's the billfold going to satisfy you, ladies? Because certainly all women with rich husbands are constantly happy. You're right. How long's the bedroom going to satisfy you, ladies? So if that's the measure that our culture has given us, no wonder those who look for that in a man end up with disillusionment quickly.